Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Smells Like. I'm Josh. So good to see you. And today I have a review I've really been looking forward to from a brand new fragrance from the house of Tom Ford. This is Ombré Leather. Ombré Leather is a 2018 release, and here are the notes. In the top, we have cardamom. In the heart of the fragrance, we have jasmine sambac and leather. And in the base, we have patchouli, moss, and amber. The perfumer for the 2018 rendition of Ombré Leather is unlisted at this point. However, there was a 2016 version of this Ombré Leather 16 that was released by Tom Ford on their private blend line. I believe it was released as part of a Fashion Week, 2016 Fashion Week or something like that. And Ombré Leather 16 was a release. The 2016 Ombré Leather had a perfumer listed, Sonia Constant. And I don't know if the same perfumer was used for this release. To my nose, this does smell like the same thing as the 2016 Ombré Leather. Really hard to decipher the difference if I had them side by side. I couldn't tell you which is which. So my guess is that Sonia Constant is also the perfumer on this. All I can say though is that this smells extremely similar. To my nose, it's the same fragrance as the 2016 private blend Ombré Leather 16. Another comparison that no doubt has to be made is between this and Tuscan Leather, another release from the Tom Ford private blend line. Differences between this and Tuscan Leather, they are similar to me. This just takes that leather from Tuscan Leather and rounds it out a little bit, takes away some of the smokiness, takes away some of the harshness. Tuscan Leather can be a really harsh, abrasive, kind of in-your-face leather. And there's some other things going on in Tuscan Leather that don't seem maybe to be going on in this, or at least have been toned down a little bit for this release, but it does share that same rich leather smell along with maybe something tart or sweet like raspberry. Raspberry is listed note for Tuscan Leather. It's not listed for this, but I feel like I can smell something slightly like a raspberry in this that could be involved in this one as well as saffron. Saffron can be a leathery perfume ingredient. Saffron is listed in Tuscan Leather. It's not listed in Ombré Leather, but I feel like it's being used in this. I feel like I can smell that leathery, somewhat tart, again, aspects of saffron. Saffron can also be very sheer. It goes well with leather. It can be sort of leathery, and it also mixes well with jasmine, and jasmine sambac is listed as an ingredient in this. It's a really strong note. It is what is making this have such amazing longevity. This is a really strong perfume. You're gonna smell this from miles away, and you're gonna smell it for hours and hours, and I think that jasmine sambac definitely has something to do with that in this fragrance. But you take that, you mix it with the leather, you put the patchouli in this, which gives it a little bit of an earthy feel, and it's just so good. It's so earthy, but it's not, hippie smelling patchouli, or it isn't heavy-handed at all. It's just really luxurious all the way through. But of course, the star of this fragrance has to be that leather. This just smells like rich, new, luxurious leather, like the finest black leather jacket. The name Ombré Leather, I believe, means changes in shade. And I think that, to me, this does change the leather shade, and this changes from like a rich, smooth, treated black leather, like a new black leather jacket in the beginning. And in the life of this fragrance, it changes a little bit into a more raw, untreated leather. And even in my mind, changes colors from black to more of like a brown, like an untreated, rough, almost suede-like saddle leather. So it does change in that way. Other than that, this is a pretty linear fragrance. There aren't, a lot of differences between the opening, the mid, and the dry down of the fragrance. It doesn't like develop in stages. There aren't new players that come in. but it does, to my nose, just change slightly in tone. Like I said, that leather tone, kind of from a black, smooth leather, ultra treated, ultra sleek, to more of a rough, untreated leather, down towards the dry down, which I think is really cool. It's really interesting, and it makes it just slightly more dynamic than other leathers that are just the same thing in your face through the fragrance. It does have just a little bit of nuance to it, which I really love. It is just a rich, luxurious, sophisticated, sexy fragrance. Longevity on this one is excellent, out of this world longevity, out for hours and hours and hours, 10 to 12 hours on skin in terms of longevity. The projection, the sillage, I would say is about an arm's length, moderate sillage, with projection that is, again, moderate. I'm gonna say maybe above average in the first couple of hours, but I'm gonna say moderate in terms of the projection. It smells wonderful and people are gonna be able to smell you, but it isn't as loud as Tuscan Leather. That's one of the main differences that I note with this, between this and Tuscan Leather. The performance is a little bit closer to the skin. It's still moderate. It's still like people can smell you. It just isn't like beast mode or anything like that. I'd say it's moderate to just above that. But for a scent like this that lasts a really long time and has aspects of it that can be quite heavy and dark, I think moderate projection is actually great for a fragrance like this. If this was just blasting, filling the room for hours, I think it might become a little bit overwhelming, but in this case it doesn't become cloying at all. I'm really impressed with this release. The value for this one, pricing pretty expensive with this one. The 100 ml size retails for $175. There is a 50 ml size for $150. So it's at the upper end of the designer level there, kind of the designer scale, but it's Tom Ford. You're gonna expect to pay a little bit, especially paying full retail for Tom Ford stuff. Even at that price point, this is still about half the price per mil as Ombré Leather 16, the private line release. So the 50 mil from the private line, I think, is $175. So really you're getting about twice as much of the same fragrance, for the same price. So to me, that the value is actually pretty good, especially comparing it to the private blend line. Occasions for this one, I think this one could easily be worn casually. It could be worn for dates. I think it could be worn upscale. Wearing it to work, it doesn't feel like a work fragrance to me. It feels more like a night out, fun fragrance. It's kind of a sexy fragrance. I feel like this is one to wear when you're wearing a leather jacket or cool leather shoes. You're kind of in that mindset to kind of smell cool and sophisticated and sexy. It fits that more to me. Not everybody's gonna be a fan of this, but I think that you're gonna have more people that are a fan of this than are a fan of Tuscan Leather. I think if you don't like Tuscan Leather, there's a chance you could still like this. I think if you do like, or if you love Tuscan Leather, you're gonna like or love Ombré Leather. And it's very rich of a smell with that leather, the amber, the earthiness. It just all comes together in what I would call kind of an earthy, a smoldery kind of heat aspect, and then the leather with that, which is almost like an animalic. So it's kind of like animalic, heat, and earth. To put it into kind of the three aspects that this one has. So really excited about this one. I'll be wearing this one all fall. In my opinion, the best designer release of 2018, Tom Ford's Ombré Leather. I'd like to know in the comments, what is your favorite leather scent, if you have one? Have you tried Ombré Leather? Have you tried Tuscan Leather? Do you think one is maybe better than the other? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to do this again sometime, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And we'll see you right here for the next video at the Smells Like Fragrance channel. Thanks so much for watching.